just when we thought Disney, the mouse himself, could not own any more major studios, it is a rumor and it is getting more likely that Disney might buy the rights to DC Comics. Now, they will not own Warner Brothers. They're not buying really Warner Brothers Studios, but they will have the rights if this merger does indeed work to every single DC character that's under the DC banner, basically. And what do I think of this news? But before I give you guys my thoughts, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. What do you guys think of Disney maybe buying the rights to DC Comics? I would love to know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. So let's get into it. I want to get something completely clear, and this could age like sour milk, or this could age like fine wine. I don't think there is going to be a Disney Marvel versus DC film, and everybody's talked about if Marvel and DC do end up joining, they'll make a DC versus Marvel film. That's not going to happen in a billion years. I don't think that will ever happen. And again, it could happen, and this could age terribly, but I don't think that's going to happen. And the reason for that is because that wouldn't really feel like a film. It would feel more like a fan film. I know, like on the page, that sounds like the best option ever. Like, oh my goodness, seeing these characters and heroes and villains tag team. It's not going to happen, and the reason for that is because the MCU is part of its own cinematic universe, and the DC extended universe is part of its own universe as well. So it wouldn't just be the Avengers versus the Justice League, it would be the entire DC universe versus the entire Marvel universe, and it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. So I'm sorry for the people who thought this merger would mean there's going to be a DC versus Marvel film. That's not going to happen anytime soon. But we can talk about the possibilities. Now, let's just say this merger happened. DC ends up being under the Disney belt. I think this would lose a lot of creativity from the filmmakers, and I don't think we would get a lot of any creative films. Like, let's just say Disney owned DC back when the Snyder Cut was being chanted. I don't know if they would allow Zack Snyder to make his full vision. They would probably allow him to make the Snyder Cut. I don't think they would allow him to make it 4 hours long. I don't think it would be on HBO Max. It would have been on Disney Plus. I don't think they definitely would not have allowed him to make it R. So it would not have been Zack Snyder's full vision. I don't want to see Disney own DC, and the reason for this is because Disney owns pretty much every single major franchise. There's a couple they don't own, like James Bond and stuff, but they own Marvel, they own the rights to Fox films, they own Star Wars, and now they might own the right to DC Comics. I think they just own too much, and people have said this a lot. There's not going to be any competition if they end up owning all these major franchises. There's not going to be any competition, which I think competition, especially in the movie realm, is good for publicity. I think it's good. It's good. It's a healthy thing. Films need to kind of like back and forth with each other. It was kind of this competition, like back in 2017 when Civil War and Batman v Superman shared the same release date of May, and then Batman v Superman moved up to March. Batman v Superman moved up from Captain America's Civil War, which people really thought Batman v Superman would be the better film, but they moved up because they didn't want to compete with Disney. They did not want to compete with the MCU. So I liked the competition. I liked knowing, oh, how is this film going to move, or how is this MCU film going to compare to this DCU film. It was a fun thing when the rare occasions happened. It was fun, it was unique, it was charming, it was interesting. And that goes for everything. Every single film, every single studio, it goes for it. Competition is healthy in the movie industry, and if Disney ends up owning the rights to DC Comics, then there wouldn't really be any competition. And also, I don't want to see the DC heroes merge with the MCU. I just don't want to see it. Why? Because the DCEU is fine doing what it's doing. It's doing its solo films. The films are getting better, and the MCU is doing what they've been doing for like 10 plus years, right? And they're gonna get the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, which that's cool to see, but I don't want to see the DC heroes merge with the MCU heroes. I just don't want to see it. If Disney ends up buying the rights to DC Comics, they can make their own films, but I don't think we'll get as experimental. I don't think we would have got the Snyder Cut, at least not what Snyder would want. I don't think we would have got Birds of Prey. We would not have gotten James Gunn's Suicide Squad. We would not have gotten these R-rated, unique takes on the superhero genre, and I think that's one of Disney's main problems. I love the MCU, but they don't really take risk. They're very formulaic, very similar films, and they don't really take any risk. The DCEU has been taking huge gambles, like with Birds of Prey, like with James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, like with Zack Snyder's Justice League. These R-rated, more experimental superhero takes that I feel like Disney doesn't really do. Same with them buying Fox. I don't think we would have got Logan or anything of that effect. We might have got Logan, but not in the R-rated, more closer, more personal character story that James Mangold wanted to tell. So overall, I don't know what to think about this news. I am extremely mixed on it. What do you guys think of it? Those are my thoughts on Disney maybe buying the rights to DC Comics. What do you think of this? Up to know all your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you'd like to hit that like button and subscribe and that post notification bell so never know when I love a video. Check out my podcast that I do every other Tuesday with a friend of mine. It's called The Movie Podcast. And you guys can check out my Instagram at JonesCoDaniels77. Thanks for watching, guys. Now, see you next time. General out.